What kind of neighbor crashes into your car on MOVYing day and tries to pin the blame on you, only to unravel $1 million scam caught on tape? That's the wild ride I got thrown into when I bought my first home in the quiet Willow Grove Estates. I'm just a regular guy, thrilled to unpack my life in a cozy 3-bedroom, but within hours, I was facing off against the ruthless former HOA queen, Margaret Voss, whose schemes could have landed her in a crime drama. By the end, I had enough security footage to make her sweat, criminal charges piling up against her, and a neighborhood cheering me on as their accidental hero. It all kicked off with a crash that turned my dream home into a battlefield. I just dragged the last box from the MOVYing truck, sweat dripping, when a bone-rattling crunch of metal on metal came from my garage. I bolted over and saw a glossy black SUV, its front end smashed into my poor sedan, parked neatly inside. Behind the wheel was Margaret Voss, late 50s, with a sleek blonde bob and a stare that could curdle milk. Before I could get a word out, she rolled down her window and let me have it. "Move your damn car! You're blocking the road!" I was floored. My sedan was nowhere near the street, it was in my garage, where I'd parked it to keep it safe. I'd poured every penny into this house, and now this woman had wrecked my car on day one. "Ma'am, my car's in my garage," I said, trying to keep cool as my heart raced. "You drove onto my property and hit me." I yanked out my phone, snapping pics of the damage, a nasty dent in the sedan's door, scratches tearing through the blue paint. Repairs would run me at least $3,000, and that's before the hit to its value. Margaret stepped out, gripping a fancy purse like it was a grenade, her face twisted with rage. "Do you even know who I am?" she snapped, her voice sharp enough to spook the neighbors' dogs. "I'm Margaret Voss, president of Willow Grove's HOA. I've been here 15 years, and your garage is against our rules." She waved at my standard 2-car garage, identical to every other on the block, like it was some kind of felony. I kept snapping photos, circling the wreckage, when I spotted the security camera I'd installed the day before. Its lens was locked on the whole mess. Relief hit me hard. I had proof. That Dulaw 500 system was worth its weight in gold now. "I've got a camera that recorded everything," I said, pointing to the DVYC above the garage door. Margaret's smug look vanished. Her eyes darted to the camera, then back to me, her hand clutching her necklace. She straightened her designer coat, some high-end brand, I'd bet, and stammered. "Cameras facing the street are against HOA rules. Take it down, or you'll be fined." Her voice cracked, her confidence slipping. I couldn't help but grin. "The camera's on my property, facing my property, and it just caught you wrecking my car," I said, keeping my tone ice cold. "Want to swap insurance info, or should I call the cops?" My pulse was pounding, but I held my ground, a trick I'd learned growing up with 2 tough-as-nails sisters. Margaret's eyes narrowed, sizing me up. Then her tone shifted, all fake and syrupy. "Listen, no need to make a big deal. We're neighbors. Let's just forget this happened. I'm sure we can work it out." Her smile was pure venom, and something about it screamed trouble. Before I could answer, a voice cut through. "I wouldn't trust her as far as I can throw her," said a guy walking over from next door. He was about 40, with kind eyes and a faded college tee. "Margaret's got a knack for making problems disappear until she's suing you again." He stuck out his hand. "Tom Reed, your neighbor. Welcome to Willow Grove, or as I call it, HOA Purgatory." His grin was warm, a lifeline in the chaos. Margaret shot Tom a look that could have melted steel. "Stay out of this, Tom. Worry about your unapproved mailbox." Her voice dripped with menace, but Tom just laughed, unbothered. "I'm filing a claim," I told her, standing firm. "And the camera stays." Margaret's diamond earrings flashed as she glared, then pulled out a fancy notebook with the HOA logo. "Fine, Mr. Daniel Carter," she said, scribbling my name like she was carving it into stone. "Welcome to Willow Grove. Read your HOA rules. The board's inspecting tomorrow." With that, she peeled out of my driveway, leaving burnt rubber and a declaration of war. Tom waited until her SUV was gone. You've made an enemy on day one. That's gotta be a record. He eyed the sedan's damage. How bad? Bad enough. I sighed, running my hand over the scratches. Is she always like this? Tom's laugh was dark. That was her playing nice. He filled me in. The last guy in my house got hit with 48 violations in a month, sold cheap to Margaret's son, Ethan, a real estate hotshot who only scores deals in Willow Grove. They've done it to 6 others, Tom said, his voice low. It's their game: harass, buy low, flip high. Document everything. That night, I watched the footage. It was a gut punch. Margaret had deliberately steered into my garage, glancing around before gunning it. No accident. I backed up the video to the cloud, my email, and a hard drive. If Margaret wanted a fight, I was ready. The next morning, 3 HOA violation notices were taped to my door: overgrown lawn, I just mowed, misplaced bins, set exactly per the HOA guide, and unapproved paint, unchanged since I bought the place. Each carried a $150 fine if not fixed in 48 hours. Margaret was coming for me. At work, coding for a tech firm, I couldn't shake the irony. Biggest threat wasn't a hacker, but a neighbor. On my lunch break, I dove into HOA laws, learning about protections against harassment and selective enforcement. That evening, I showed up at the HOA meeting at the community center, laptop tucked under my arm. The room buzzed with tension, neighbors avoiding my eyes. Margaret sat at the head table, pearls gleaming, flanked by 4 older board members who looked like they'd rather be anywhere else. She barely glanced at me, but her eyes lingered on my laptop. The meeting dragged through petty stuff: holiday decorations, trash schedules, Margaret steamrolling any pushback. When they opened the floor for concerns, I stood. I'd like to talk about yesterday. The HOA president crashed into my car in my garage. I have video proof. Whispers spread as I hooked up my laptop. Margaret shot to her feet, pearls swinging. This isn't the place, Mr. Carter. File a claim. We have real issues. Her tone swatted me away like a fly. I have, I said. But since you hit me with 3 violations to retaliate, the community deserves to know. I played the video. Gasps filled the room as Margaret's SUV slammed into my sedan, her intent crystal clear. When it ended, the silence was deafening. That's been edited, Margaret scoffed, cool as ever. I was turning in his oversized driveway when my brakes failed. He's lucky I'm not citing him. Her lie was so bold it almost sounded true. A few neighbors swapped doubtful glances, but most stayed quiet, trained by her reign. She moved on to garage sale plans like my evidence was nothing. Tom gave me a nod, but I felt the room's indifference. As I left, a woman with red hair slipped me a note. I'm Sarah Klein, HOA secretary, she whispered, glancing at Margaret. Call me. I can help. Her handwriting matched the meeting minutes. Outside, a slick guy in a tailored suit leaned against my car. Daniel Carter. I'm Ethan Voss, he said, flashing a shark's grin. Heard you're struggling to settle in. His cologne was overwhelming. I'm fine, I said, shaking his hand quick. He didn't move. My mom's tough. Once she locks onto someone, it's brutal. I'm in real estate. I'll buy your house, do law, $350,000 cash, quick close. I blinked. I'd paid Dulaw $500,000 a month ago. Ethan shrugged. Market's rough, and those violations, they'll bury you. Think about it. He handed me a card and strolled to his sports car, his offer laced with a threat. That night I called Sarah. I can't talk long, she whispered. Margaret's got eyes everywhere. She and Ethan target newcomers, slap them with violations, then Ethan buys cheap. They've flipped 7 homes for 40 fan tram profit. Your block's key to a shopping center deal, the city wants it. Margaret's tight with Greg Thompson, the building inspector, and they're set to make millions. Why help me? I asked. Because someone's got to stop them, she said, fierce. Your camera rattled her. Keep pushing. I took a week off work, claiming I was settling in. I met the previous owner, John Hayes, at a diner. He looked beaten down. "Margaret made my life hell," he said. "Citations from my mailbox, my trash cans, even my doorbell's chime. She broke into my garage, trashed my AC, then cited the damage. I sold to Ethan for nothing after months of daily inspections. I added more cameras backyard, street, even hidden indoor ones, another grand out of pocket. On the third night, my phone pinged at 2 a.m. Margaret, dressed in black, was spraying my lawn with chemicals, her face grim under my security light. I called the cops, but she was gone when Officer Chin arrived. "Trespassing report's all I can do," he said. "Margaret's got pull with my boss. Dig deeper. Follow the money." With Sarah's help, I dug into HOA records. Margaret funneled contracts to her cousin's landscaping company and Ethan's friend's fake security patrol. I reached out to other victims. Lisa Morgan, a widow, got cited for memorial wind chimes. The Patel family faced 36 notices for their kids' playtime noise. Margaret was targeting our block for the development. Tom hosted a secret meeting at his house. 12 residents showed up, nervous but pissed. "We need her off the board," said George Ellis, a retired lawyer. "We need 60 fan tram of homeowners to vote her out, but fear's a problem," Tom said. "We need ironclad proof," I added. Lisa, a former actress, had an idea. She invited Ethan over, pretending to consider selling her prime corner lot. Wearing a hidden mic, she streamed to Tom's place. "Ready to sell?" Ethan asked, sipping her tea. "I'll give you do lot 280,000. Lisa played coy. "My husband always said never take the first offer." Ethan's charm dropped. "Your violations won't stop unless you sell. Mom's got an eye for issues." Lisa pushed. "So if I don't sell, she'll make up violations?" Ethan smirked. "Mom and I see a shopping center here. Sell now, or eminent domain will screw you." He spilled it all, tying it to a city council vote. We had him. The next night, Tom faked being out of town. My cameras caught Margaret scattering fake lawn ornaments and trash at his house, snapping photos for citations. I compiled everything videos, Ethan's recording, HOA financials, and took it to Detective Emily Park at the county sheriff's office. Untied to local politics, she studied the evidence, her face grim. "This is huge, Mr. Carter. You're a target now." "They're already after me," I said. Ethan called, panicking. "Mom's got cop friends. I can get her safe behind the office painting, combo 231742. "Why snitch?" I asked. "I'm not going to jail for her," he said. "Talk to Park," I told him. Warrants hit Margaret's and Ethan's homes and Greg's office. Documents laid out a $50 million deal with kickbacks for all three. Ethan flipped, testifying for a lighter sentence. Margaret, tipped off, broke into my house, trashing my office for evidence. "Delete it all," she hissed, unaware my cameras were rolling. Detective Park arrested her mid-rampage, catching her with Ethan, who spilled everything. "You betrayed me!" Margaret screamed as they cuffed her. My cloud backups saved the day. Margaret got 3 years for fraud and vandalism. Ethan lost his license. Greg was banned from public office. The HOA reformed under Tom, with fair rules. A park replaced the mall plan after my house's historic status unknown to Margaret block development. Victims won a lawsuit, recovering losses. At a community barbecue, laughter filled Willow Park. Tom raised a glass. "From HOA hell to paradise, thanks to one camera." I smiled. It was everyone standing up to a tyrant. A letter from Margaret arrived, vowing revenge, but I tossed it, joining the celebration. The neighborhood was free, and I'd found my place in it.